What the hell is going on, people? This is Periodik, and you see the title of the video. We are jumping back into Dragonball Z Dokkan Battle. We are jumping back into Global 6th Anniversary. And we're jumping into a topic that has been brought forward before. I don't know, I'm trying to sound smart. This is something that's been talked about before, but I kind of feel like I really want to deep dive into it and break it down and see if it's true. And the question, are the 6-year anniversary banners the best of all time?
Hit my thought. I shut it down wherever power is stored. Being real is in the past, watching cowards get on. It ain't kill me, so it's making me stronger. And these bite-sized rappers now sensing my home.
So let's quickly take a quick little peek at the two banners. We're not even going to go into it, but there it is right there. Dual Dokkan Festival, LR UI Goku, LR Intelligence Vegeta. Now, one thing I will say, in terms of meta-shattering units, I wouldn't really say that these guys are it. They're very powerful, but the Ultra Instinct Goku is essentially a better version of the Strength UI Goku, which we already have. And then the Intelligence Vegeta is similar to the UI Goku, but instead of negating damage or nullifying damage by dodging it, he just has damage reduction. So he's very, very tanky boy. But other units gain damage reduction, and you know, it's all been done before. With that said, I do think that if you just kind of take a look at everything, Strength Gogeta was probably the most, you know, just awe-inspiring unit. He just completely shattered the game, and then followed by Agl Vegeta, followed by the 2-year anniversaries units, followed by the 3-year anniversary units. And then ever since the 3-year anniversary units, yes, everyone has been crazy. Agl, Kalen Caulifla, the 4-year anniversary units, the 5-year anniversary units, but it wasn't meta shattering. Like, they're so much better by leagues. It's like you're playing two different games, right? Hasn't really happened in a while. And I don't think this Goku or this Vegeta are it. But with that said, let's jump into the banners and let's go back in time and check them out and see how they fare. Before we even go into this banner, I do want to thank you for clicking on this video. You could have chose anywhere on YouTube, and you might just do that after you hear this part, but you could have chose anywhere on YouTube and you decided to click on this video. So I do appreciate it, and I appreciate even more you subscribing if you're not a part of the club. And if you are a part of the club, you probably already clicked that like button, and I appreciate you even more. So let's take a look at this. This is the Goku Angel and Vegeta Angel, which was the Gogeta Banner. And this was obviously the 3-year anniversary. Now, just taking a look at it right now, it wasn't that great of a banner. It wasn't that great of a banner, and I'll tell you why. At the time, this is 3-year anniversary, so being defensive oriented wasn't that big of a priority. That didn't really become a huge factor until right before the 4th year anniversary. So units like Int Gogeta, still pretty good. Units like Tech Gogeta, still pretty good. The Strength Janemba, okay. Int Janemba, not that good, because this was during the 3-year anniversary, right? So this would have been 2018, and this Janemba came out in 2016 and got his Japan Extreme Z Awakening in December of 2018. But got his global Extreme Z Awakening in August of 2019. So that means that when this banner came out, right, if we take a look at this Gogeta, January of 2018, July of 2019, he did not receive his EZA until almost a year after. And, you know, same thing on global for the most part. So the EZA took a while. So before then, he was bad. He wasn't really that good. He was already outside of the meta. He was not important anymore. And then you had a bunch of other units like this Agl Goku. Yeah, he was pretty cool. You know, came out in 2018, as you can see there during the 3-year anniversary. Didn't get an Extreme Z Awakening until 2020. And really the only good thing about him before was he was an orb changer, which was pretty nice. But you weren't really going to bring him along. Wasn't really worth it. Same thing with this Tech Goku and the physical Vegeta, right? Came out 3-year anniversary. Got the Extreme Z Awakening in 2021. So, not really, you know what I mean? Like, not really options that you would go, wow, this is a fantastic featured unit list. Even, again, this is the Vegito Banner. So, this is just the normal Goku and Vegeta. This is the Vegito Banner here. I would say that this banner was a little bit better because you have units like the Int Kid Buu. Now, the Int Kid Buu struggled with Ki. But even with his Ki struggles, he still wasn't bad. You had the physical Vegito Blue. Again, before his EZA, he was okay. The AGL Vegito was still usable at this point, and the physical Vegito was okay as well at this point. He was decent. But the Vegito and the Gogeta were just so much better than everybody here. It's not even funny, right? But in terms of like, were these banners the best of all time? No, not even close. Not in, like, even back then we were like, all right, yeah, we're good. We're good. Now let's move on to the year 4. And year 4 got a little bit better. So you had Vegeta. You had the 3-year anniversary unit on here. And oh, by the way, I do want to mention this. I'm only going to be talking about Dokkan-Fest LR banners, all right? Because there's been a lot of good TUR banners, but you know, I don't want to review 30 million banners. So we're just going to look at Dokkan-Fest LR banners. I'll probably put that in the description as well. But as you can see here, you had the 3-year anniversary units. You had the 250 million download unit. You had the Evolution Blue Vegeta, who is still good at this time. MVP 17, who's still good at this time. They're both good now. Don't get me wrong. They're just kind of outdated. You had AGL Turles, where at this point we're starting to get into the defensive meta, and so Turles is starting to fall away, but he's still usable during the 4-year anniversary. AGL Vegeta still really solid. Unfortunately, same name update doesn't work, but not a big deal because on the Super Saiyan 4 Goku banner, he's AGL. So he's a Goku's family lead, and he's a Super AGL. So there was still value in getting this Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta because he linked up perfectly with this Super Saiyan 4 Goku. And you could bring him under the sub lead. So that was really, really nice. And then the bottom row here, these 3 were pretty much fodder. You really hope that you didn't pull any of those 3, right? But the top row were all usable. They were all pretty good. And 4-year anniversary, we were like, all right, this is a pretty good banner. And then you look at Goku's, right? Obviously, Goku was the better prize than the Vegeta. And you also had the Vegito, who in my opinion is just a little bit better than the Gogeta. You had the 250 million download Goku, who at this time was decent. You had the UI Goku, who, you know, hit or miss with some people. They liked his first form, not fan of his second. Jiren was strong at this time. Frieza was okay, but just didn't really have many teams you would want to run him on. And then the Super Saiyan 4 Goku, you could theoretically run him with the Vegeta, but because content was becoming more difficult and hitting harder, he was definitely falling by the wayside. 100% falling by the wayside because his defense was nowhere near what Vegeta was able to do. Now, obviously, they have the Easy A's. It's a whole different story, but back then, not so much. And then again, the bottom row you didn't want to pull. So that was 3 duds in the banner, potentially 4 with the Int Frieza. Because even Int Frieza, when we looked at him, he was good, but it's just like, where are you going to put him? You can't put him next to superclass units. It was just kind of a mess, right? But all in all, big improvement over the 3-year banners. Big improvement. Way more value summoning deep on these banners. So, we move on. Goten and Gohan. The Go Bros, as they say. Now we're starting to look at, you know, a banner with a side unit on it. You had the movie Heroes support Gohan, who was darn good card. Still is pretty good in my opinion. When he gets his EZA, he'll be even better, but still pretty good. And back then, we really needed more movie hero units. Honestly, we needed more movie hero leads. And then you had the Go Bros, who at first people didn't really know what to think about, but in time they were kind of like, all right, they're really, really good. Now, here's the problem with the banner. You had some holdovers, you had some, people from the other. You had the Evolution Blue Vegeta that came from the 4-year anniversary banner. You had the Tech Vegito, who was good, but by this time, again, we're starting to get, we're very, like, kind of in the beginning of seeing content that's difficult turn 1. Not much. With that said, he was still solid. Once you Dokkan Awaken him, he's still solid in long events. And in 2019, Global and Japan were really starting to put a lot of difficult long-term content. So very elongated events. And you wanted people that stacked defense. That was the big thing, stack defense. Hence why Go Bros were so good, because they gained up to 200+% attack and defense. And this dude, raises attack and defense, and then he super attacks. He can potentially super attack a bunch of times. So he was still really good. The Gohan was a good support. The Evolution Blue Vegeta was still good at this point. Strength Gohan, not good. Yeah, I mean, when he came out, he wasn't particularly good. Super Saiyan 3 Broly was trash at this point. The Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks was still good in this particular point in the game, mainly because he had a bunch of teams he could run on. Now, if you look at the last 3, you had this Agl Goku. Now, if you want to take a look at the time here, this is July 2019 or May 2019, because remember, this was a global first LR. So if we're taking a look at the global first LR and we're going into this, so May 2019, this guy got his Extreme Z Awakening the year before. And with the Extreme Z Awakening, he's better, but he's not necessarily top tier. So him being on the banner, not necessarily a good look, particularly because he had already been on a ton of banners. This physical Super Saiyan Goku, he's been out for a very long time. His Extreme Z Awakening didn't come for a while on global, almost a full year. So him being on the banner was a very bad look. Same thing with this Intelligence Goten. Now, even at this particular point, he had 40% damage reduction. And he raised his allies' attack by 20%, which was pretty good. Once he got his Dokkan Awakening in 2020, he is so much better. But even in this form, he wasn't that much of a dud, but it's still a unit that doesn't Dokkan Awaken. So that was a problem. So this banner was good, but it wasn't, it barely made the mark as good. It barely made the mark as something you wanted to spend your stones on. And it was definitely a downward trend coming from the 4-year anniversary. If we keep going, we have the, what was this, 300 million download celebration with Cell and Gohan. Now, this is where the banner started to get better. Definitely started to get better, because you had the Int Cell, who's still top tier LR in the game. You had the AGL Cell Juniors, who are good on the specific teams that they can be run on. You have the Strength Boo, who I will admit at this point in time, people didn't really see a need for him. He was not as good as some of the other category leads, and he really was missing a good partner, and he was really missing other good Majin units. Now, once LR Buhan came out, and then you had AGL Boo Piccolo, and a few other characters, Tech Boo getting his Extreme Z Awakening, Int Boo getting his Extreme Z Awakening, then suddenly that team started to really fill out. But at this point in time, him being on this banner was a dud. Physical Broly being on this banner was a W. Tech Frieza being on this banner, he's still good at this point. The Int Goku Black, not so much. Even when he first came out, people saw him as a missed opportunity. And then the last two on this row, Physical Goku Black and the strength Goku Black. So physical Goku Black did not have his Extreme Z Awakening at this time, so he wasn't necessarily a good look being on this banner. Now the strength Rose, if you take a look at his awakening here, he's still good even to this day. He's just lacking defense a bit, right? He's just lacking defense, but he does a ridiculous amount. So I would argue that he's still fine. And particularly back then, he was good. And then you had these two cells. Now, if we quickly go over these two cells, you had the strength cell, right? You had the strength cell who didn't receive his Extreme Z Awakening until January 2020. So that was a big dud. And then you had this cell who already has his Extreme Z Awakening, but it's really just kind of like good on nuking events. It's not necessarily good on anything else. So this bottom row here was terrible. And then you had some units that were like, I could have done without them if you added some other, better options. There's definitely are. But as an overall banner, I'd probably say it was better than the Goten and Gohan banner. And then you have the Agl Gohan banner. And this one was confusing because you had a few good units, right? The Tech Vegito Blue we talked about. Super Saiyan 3 Bardock at this point still really good. MVP 17 still really good. Goku still pretty good, though he had been on 10 million banners at this point already. And then Gogeta, fantastic. The physical Vegeta, very good at this point. Agl Gohan, fantastic, but two big problems with this banner. Number one, Gohan obviously had the terrible transformation condition. You have one of the coolest transformations in the game. You have it locked behind a condition that he's probably never going to be able to achieve. And then number two, the easiest way to get him to achieve the condition is to have him run alongside this Intelligence Android 16. But the Intelligence Android 16 is on none of the same categories that Gohan is on, and is intelligence, so you can't even run him under the same sub-lead, the AGL sub-lead that Gohan has. So just a wacky, ridiculous, dumb decision. So the only way you can really run them alongside of each other is if you summon on the Cell banner, pull Cell, and run all three on Cell's leader skill, which is Androids and Cell Saga. Bandai was kind of showing their ass at that point, because it's one of those things of, wow, you're just greedy. Because you have these two characters that don't really link with each other, but it fulfills one of Gohan's big conditions of transforming, and you can't perform that by summoning on just this banner. You have to summon on this banner for Cell, or else you can't do it. So kind of scummy. Even though the banner was good, it kind of left a bad taste in people's mouths. And then you move on to the 5-year anniversaries. And now we're talking about pretty good banner. Now you have some older units, but you have good units as well. Tech Vegito, at this point, best unit in the game, right? Or arguably with Gogeta. You had the AGL Trunks, really solid. LR Agl Gohan, I just talked about, fantastic. In Vegito, fantastic. Tech Trunks, very, very good. AGL Zamasu, still good. Tech Zamasu, and physical Vegito Blue. Now you're starting to look at where, if we take a look at Tech Vegito very quickly, July 2020 for global. And then we go into the physical Vegito Blue and look at his Extreme Z Awakening. It had already been released for a few months. So you have these two units, right? The Tech Zamasu and the physical Vegito Blue. And physical Vegito Blue potentially being one of the best EZAs in the game. That was good, right? You had these two that were good. The duds, because we're already full way into the middle of 2020, and you have Super Vegito and you have Strength Transforming Boo. Duds at that point. At that point, they were duds, because even at that point, during the 5-year anniversary, Strength Boo still doesn't have a great team. Super Vegito has definitely shown his age, and he's just not that good anymore. But the first row at that time was pretty solid. It was good. And then you have Gogeta, Strength Bardock, great active skill. You had the Int Cell. You had the 3-year anniversary Gogeta. You had the AGL Super Gogeta plus the Broly. And then you kind of start hitting the duds with the Tech Gogeta, who, lacks defense. And at this point, we're in a defensive meta. You have to be tanky, and he has just none at all. And then you have the strength full power Omega Shenron, who is not bad because at this point he would have already gotten his Extreme Z Awakening, and he was that full power support plus a very, very good debuffing unit in Super Battle Road. So people wouldn't mind pulling him on this banner. The real big duds were the Tech Gogeta and then the Int Gogeta, because he still didn't have his Extreme Z Awakening at the time. Whereas if you looked at the Intelligence Janemba, now this man had already been Easy Aid and was at the point of contention with physical Super Saiyan Blue Vegito as the best Easy A in the game. So we're really just looking at one bad or two bad apples in this particular banner, the Gogeta banner. So Gogeta and Janemba banners much better. I would contest that the Gogeta banner was a better value overall at the time, but it is what it is. It's up to the people to decide. Then if we keep going, now we're at the worldwide celebration. So they no longer called it download celebrations. It wasn't 300 million, 350, 400, 450. It was just the worldwide celebration. And now you're looking at some of the best banners in the game, because you had the physical Buhan, who immediately when he came out, contention for the best LR in the game. You had AGL Piccolo, or AGL Boo Piccolo, who was made to defeat difficult content. He was created as a cheat code for difficult content. You had LR AGL Gohan, one of the best LRs in the game. Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta, one of the best LRs in the game. The 3-year anniversary units, still some of the best LRs in the game. Strength Cooler, one of the best TURs in the game, alongside Tech Super Saiyan Majin Vegeta there. And then the physical Vegeta, still very, very good. The Strength Boo now suddenly had a purpose, because now he's surrounded by all of these fantastic units that share 10 million links with him. So now at Rainbow Star level 10 links, Boo somehow has 230k defense doing 5 million attack stats. Like, out of nowhere, right? And then the big dud here, of course, is the Intelligence Buhan, who he's gotten his Easy A so long ago, he's not necessarily relevant. But the rest of the banner now is actually pretty good, is actually pretty solid. And then, of course, you have the Goku Vegeta, who we kind of just have to keep harping on how good these banners were. So you have the Strength Vegito, arguably the best LR in the game. Physical Tien, one of the best main unit in the game, one of the best GSSR type units in the game. Intelligence Cell, top tier LR. Super Saiyan 4 Goku, top tier LR. Vegito, top tier LR. AGL Bardock, absolutely fantastic. Int Transforming Goku, absolutely fantastic. And then you have some duds. AGL Transformation Goku, the physical Super Vegito, and then the AGL Super Vegito. Even with the Easy A, the AGL Super Vegito is still very underwhelming. And the AGL Transforming Goku, unfortunately, is just showing his age at this point. No defense, only damage reduction. Not really my cup of tea. But everything else is pretty darn good on the banner besides the final 3 units. Everything else is very, very good. So now these banners are hell of a lot of value. And now let's move along to the next banner in order. And we're looking at the Blue Boys, the Goku and Vegeta banner. And I'm going to tell you right now, nah, not really. Not really. Some good units in this banner, don't get me wrong, right? You had the Blue Boys, obviously. You had Gobros, yes. Physical Beerus, yes. But then you had the UI Goku, who was aging at this point. The AGL Goku, I just mentioned he was aging. The physical Vegeta, the AGL Vegeta, the Strength Jiren, all kind of equal level for power. Good, but not top tier. And then the Frieza, definitely aging. So you had some decent units here. And then you have the AGL Krillin there, on that spot as well. You had some good characters, but honestly, the banner that we just went over was better. The banners that we just went over were better. So you had a newer banner who is not as good as the one that we just got out of. And that's what, kind of drops this just a bit. So we're kind of going towards the end here. And now we're looking at the 6-year anniversary banners with Goku and Vegeta. So let's point out the dud here. The dud has to be Tech Hit. I mean, that's just like, what were you expecting, something else? The dud is Tech Hit, for God's sakes. The Tech Vegeta is still fantastic. The Agl Vegeta and the Physical 17 are still good and actually got a bit better because there's so many units that now link great with them. Strength Kefla, same thing, because she's got that Tournament Power link. Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta, I mean, has gotten new life brought into him because of the Easy A's and the Goku and the Vegeta. Incel still incredible. Strength Vegito, incredible. The Strength Golden Frieza and Gohan, good support unit. And then Int Vegeta, absolutely fantastic. Same thing here. AGL UI Goku, potentially best LR in the game. You have the Physical Buhan, one of the best. AGL Gohan, one of the best. Super Saiyan 4 Goku. Really the dud in this one, and by the way, the Gohan and Piccolo, fantastic as well. Really the dud in this one has to be both Strength Calc and Goku and the Physical Int Beerus, or I'm sorry, Physical Int Beerus, the Int Golden Frieza. Everyone else is really good on here. The Int Golden Frieza, like I said before, showing his age. UI Goku, great Easy A. Physical Beerus, fantastic. Int Goku's fantastic as well, the transforming one. But then you have the Strength Calc and Goku, who's good on long events, but doesn't necessarily get overly tanky on long events. So you may want to bring a different character in that particular spot. And his spot is harder to justify now because there's so many damn good Universe 7 units in the game. It's absolutely ridiculous. So with that said, very, 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 very good banner, particularly because Int Golden Frieza are probably going to get an Easy A sometime soon, and Tech Hit, I would imagine, is probably going to get an Easy A sometime soon. So that'll make the value of this banner go even higher. And before we kind of crown these banners, because from everything that we've seen so far, I kind of would agree that these 6-year anniversary banners were the best of all time, but we have one more that's going to come out fairly soon, in a few months, and that's the Goku and Vegeta banner. So if we take a look at this banner, you have really good units. You have the Goku Vegeta, you have the new AGL Gotenks, which is fantastic. You have the Blue Boys, you have the Go Bros, you have Physical Goten and Trunks, you have Int Gotenks, AGL Pikkon, Tech Janemba, AGL Super Gogeta, Int Super Gogeta. That's a good lineup. That's actually a fire lineup. And for the time that we're looking at, all of these units are relevant. All of them are actually really good, including the Super Gogeta. People tend to forget that when this boy goes Super Gogeta, he has guaranteed crit. Guaranteed crit. Yeah, I know. Plus dodge. Like, it's absolutely fantastic. So when I look at it, even if you're taking even if you're looking at like the Tech Janemba, right? Tech Janemba, I don't think he's as good as AGL Pikkon, but he's still good. Int Gotenks, fantastic. If they had included Tech Exchange Boo, then I would have said, all right, big points off. But honestly, this might be in contention for one of the best banners. But you can't say that Go Bros are potentially the best LR in the game. You can't say that the Blue Boys are potentially the best LR in the game. I wouldn't even argue that Goten and Trunks are the best TUR in the game, because I wouldn't think that's true. I don't think you would be able to make that argument. Whereas on the Goku banner, you can make an argument that obviously UI Goku is the best LR in the game, and that Physical Boo deserves to be up there in the talks of best LR in the game. Same thing here, in Vegeta being one of the best LRs in the game, and Strength Vegito being one of the best LRs in the game. So you can have that argument. So because there's so many fantastic top tier units on these two banners, I gotta give it to the 6-year anniversary. They do in fact have the best banners that we've ever had. And maybe that will change very soon with the new worldwide celebration coming up. But so far, they are the kings. And if you want to become royalty as well, there's only one way to do it. You got to join the club. You can go ahead and click that blue join button, become a Boomer champion like Joe V, or you can click that thanks button. Have your comment highlighted down below. There's also the free-to-play option. Gently rub that sub button, gingerly ring that bell button, lovingly kiss the like button. As always, this is Periodic. See y'all in the next video.